Hello and welcome to News 6 Extra. I am streaming executive producer Thomas Mates, filling in for Julie Broughton. She's covering for chief meteorologist Candace Campos today and tomorrow, so we'll be seeing each other again then. We've got a lot going on today. First of all, we are going to be looking at a new scheme that is out there. Not a new scheme, but a scheme that has been out there for a while that almost cost a Central Florida woman a lot of money. Fortunately, her bank caught it in time. News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden is going to have that story and show you how to avoid these sort of situations yourself. We're also going to be talking about how Lake County is trying to get community input so that it can keep its character as it grows and develops. There's lots of people moving to that area, so they need all the input they can get to make sure that things are done responsibly and that things don't get overrun. A lot of areas are already seeing issues with traffic. And on top of all that, we're going to be taking a look at President Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill. It is heading into the Senate today. On reconciliation is a budget bill, and we will get a look at how that might play out in the Senate and whether it might have to go back to the House for some revisions. All that's coming up in a few minutes, but before we get to all of that, we're going to talk about the weather. Yesterday was beautiful. I was out on the coast, not a cloud in the sky, nice temperature. All that's gone today, and we are back to that normal summer pattern. So for more on that, we are joined by News 6 meteorologist David Nazario. David, how are you doing?
I wish I could say that we have a big, beautiful day in store for us here in Central Florida, but we already have some severe thunderstorms happening to our neighbors west of us out there near the Tampa Bay area. So I think that's the repetition we're going to follow later today.
And it's heading our way, right? Lots of lightning from what I understand.
It is lots of lightning, lots of wind, and there could be that potential for some damaging hail embedded in there as well. Let's get you over immediately to the radar. Now, I know what you're thinking. It looks fairly uneventful right now. This is the radar out of Melbourne there, just to the north of Palm Bay in Brevard County. And if you look near Lakeland, those light showers now, the light greens there, that was a severe thunderstorm that quickly exploded in the Tampa area and then rained itself out quick. I have a friend of mine out there who works at the Hard Rock, and they sent me a video of the 50, 60 mile an hour winds and the hail falling out of that thing. Now, nothing else is happening just yet. We're going to be watching very closely as we go over the next 3 to 6 hours. We have a very interesting setup in play directly overhead. Let's get you over to that right now, but first let's set the stage. If you woke up first thing Saturday morning, or even if you slept in a little bit, that's how long it was hanging out with us. We had this unseasonably late frontal boundary that made its way through Florida, and now it's hung up. It's stuck just to the immediate south of our viewing area, and right along that stationary boundary, if you look, we've got a new slew of showers and storms firing right along its axes. It's going to be a north to south orientation as opposed to west to east that we would typically see with our sea breeze colliding over Central Florida. Now we have the winds to the north trying to butt up against the front with that southerly flow trying to kick it back towards the north, and that's exactly why we have the showers and storms popping up. And as a result of that, Storm Prediction Center, albeit I have my discrepancies with this, considering we just had some severe thunderstorms to the west. They have the southeast portion of our viewing area, particularly Seminole, Orange, Osceola, and Brevard, highlighted for that marginal level 1 risk. The southern border of Volusia County might get in a little of that thunderstorm action as well. I have a vertical video going up across my social media here very soon that goes on to mention we also don't want to discount the chance that some of those stronger thunderstorms, whether or not they go severe remains to be seen, could bleed further towards the west into Polk, Lake Sumter, and obviously Hillsborough County's already done battle with it because of that stationary front acting like a bit of an instigator for these thunderstorms. Now let's rapidly take you through the future radar here. Clouds and rain. You can see the southeast corner of our viewing area is where we are expecting a little bit of additional thunderstorm organization to take place. Tomorrow, however, as that frontal boundary kind of breaks down, I'll show you something neat here we're also paying attention to. It does seem like our coverage is going to pick up. A lot more of us are going to see the rain and thunderstorms tomorrow thanks to the front and something particular right off our east coast. So here's a look at the Euro. All of our models, I'm waiting for the morning models to come in right now to my left to see if they're still echoing the same sentiments. But if you look, this is a classic setup right over our Gulf Stream waters for a small area of low pressure to try to develop along those frontal remnants. And this is I think, awesome textbook example of when we say homegrown tropical cyclone, Don't think this is going to get a name. I'm going to let that rip right out of the gate. National Hurricane Center doesn't have it highlighted. It doesn't look strong enough to deserve a name. But if it had a little more time out there and it wasn't going to get picked back up with the rest of our jet stream high up in the atmosphere, this might have tried to do something. But regardless of development or any further organization, if you watch as we go through time, it's really going to ramp our rain chances up. And we'll have to watch to see if some of those thunderstorms get a little stronger or potentially produce some flooding for some of us out there, since we are going to be under a very rainy pattern for an extended period of time throughout the middle portions, especially of the week ahead. On the other end of the spectrum, air quality has been a bit of a struggle and it is continuing to go downhill. What we're looking at here is going to be a smoke overlay courtesy of one of our rapid refresh computer models. And if you look, all that wildfire smoke, believe it or not, is being brought to us by wildfires burning up in Canada. And it goes to show exactly how much the atmosphere can play a role on different areas, geographic areas, that could still feel the influence of something happening hundreds, if not thousands of miles away. On top of that, to kind of add a bit of a right cross to the left jab, you look here, we have the Saharan dust plume coming in right at the same time. So we have that stationary boundary inducing lots of rain for us, some severe thunderstorm pinching us off in central Florida. Then you got the wildfire smoke coming in from the north and the Saharan dust from the south. So we literally just have kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like a chokehold, a pinch zone right over central Florida near the greater Orlando area. And this Saharan dust is going to be sticking with us at least until the early portions of the first full weekend of May. So we got a couple days to do battle with that. The smoke is definitely going to cause issues for us out there. The Saharan dust even more so. Despite the rainfall, it's going to be interesting to see the kind of interaction we get from the two. And with that being said, let's get you over to your extended range 7-day forecast. I'll take you full screen so you can get a better picture of it. For the day today, 50% shot of rain. Half of us are likely to see the rainfall since that frontal boundary. It's stuck right along the borders of southern Polk, Osceola, and Brevard. And then as whatever the heck that thing is off our east coast decides to manifest itself, notice Tuesday through Thursday, rain chances get nudged upwards ever so slightly before we kind of get a bit of a return to form, a bit of a rainy season return, typical rainy season for Central Florida, just in time for your Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm. So even the Sahara, though the dust is there and the smoke is there, the rain's still coming regardless. Although some of that dust should be helping us a little bit with keeping any sort of tropical activity away from us, correct?
Exactly, yeah. I do think that at least for the first week and a half, week and some change for June, it does look like models are they're very wishy-washy with trying to get anything spun up. I think that's why computer models have started to focus a little bit more off of what's off the southeast coast, and we're still going to keep monitoring. It still looks like conditions could be favorable in between dust outbreaks and with the lift being provided by that Madden-Julian oscillation I've mentioned before. We're still going to keep a close eye on Central America off toward the southwest, the western and southern Caribbean as we go through the middle portions of June. I'm eyeballing Friday the 13th, ironically, for if we get a reputable signal to track down there.
Gotcha. Well, we will keep everyone informed. Again, the site that everyone can go to stay on top of anything tropical related is clickorlando.com/hurricane. You have several stories there. And also, while I'm mentioning Click Orlando, you're the dust and the smoke. You just did a pretty extensive article on that earlier today, along with a video explaining it all in detail. So people can head there right now and check out more of that.
150%. I'd be highly encouraged if you want to get a little additional info that we couldn't elaborate on here in the stream.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, David, thank you so much for your time and your expertise. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Always, Thomas. Have a great rest of your day.
You as well. All right, and with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be back in about 2 minutes. When we get back, we'll be seeing a story from News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden, taking a look at how a woman was able to have her bank catch what was a scam in progress and protected her money. All that's coming up in just about 2 minutes. I hate hearing myself coming out of there so much.
Well, it played louder. The audio is messed up. So you think I had to wait for your file?
I mean, it's going to be probably the same. How's the audio messed up?
It's like it's glitchy.
Glitchy.
It's like cutting
Oh, interesting. All right, yeah, maybe wait for my recording then.
Okay, yeah, it's going through the entire thing.
Okay, I'll take a look at it. Welcome back to News 6 Extra. The time now is 12:41. As I mentioned before the break, we are going to be taking a look at a woman in Central Florida who was able to get her money protected because her bank was vigilant and caught a scam before it could actually take effect. It was all started as a job offer. She was on the hunt for a new gig, but scammers saw that as an opportunity to get in there and try and take her cash. News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden got the chance to speak with her.
You know, I had heard that there were job scams, but I had never seen, a story about anyone who personally had one.
It was Elisa Murray's first experience with a job scam.
And this was pretty savvy.
Murray says she posted her resume on various sites and was looking for a work-from-home job. So when she got this email saying, "We came across your resume on Career Builder's database and would like to invite you to an online interview," she thought she had scored.
When you see the emails and things, they're very authentic looking. There's nothing there to alert you that this was going to be a problem.
Murray agreed to the interview with a person pretending to be from Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. She was told Mr. Dwayne Prescott, the Assistant Human Resources Manager, would conduct the interview. She was sent a Teams link and an interview code.
It was an extensive interview. I've been to several interviews in my life, and this one, when he asked all the right questions, it was very authentic.
Later, Murray got this letter of employment telling her she got the job as a customer service representative. Then she was sent a check for almost $2,500 as a signing bonus and for her to purchase a laptop. But when she deposited the check, her bank notified her it was fraudulent.
When I found out the check was fraudulent, the first thing I thought is this a money laundering thing?
Typically, when crooks send you a check, they have you deposit it in your account, and then they come up with a reason for you to return the money before the bank realizes the check is bad. Murray's bank caught the scam before that could happen. According to the Federal Trade Commission, job and business opportunities were the third most common scams in 2024, with Americans losing $764.8 million, and that's up nearly $250 million from 2023.
When it's someone on the other end of a Teams conversation, it's much easier to scam you.
Danny Jenkins is the CEO of ThreatLocker, a Maitland cybersecurity company. He says when applying for jobs, find the company's number independently and verify who you're talking to if it's not an in-person interview.
Say, hey, I'm talking to X in your talent department. I want to make sure this is the right person, and can I speak to him on this number? Because quite often they're scammers representing real companies, but they're not engaged on behalf of the company.
Jenkins also says investigate the company. Don't just look for a website. Make sure they're registered with the state where they operate.
Fortunate that I didn't get pulled in any farther. Fortunate that I didn't give him more information, and it would have been easy to do.
That was News 6 investigator Lewis Bolden. You can find more of Lewis's stories about these cons and schemes that are out there trying to bilk you out of your money. It's all available at clickorlando.com/investigators, along with all of our investigative stories. Again, that's clickorlando.com/investigators. Now, we all know that Central Florida is growing by leaps and bounds. People are moving here every single day. Lake County is really feeling the effects of that. There's lots of problems starting to arise from it, biggest among them being traffic, and people are starting to get a little bit fed up. The county is now looking for public input to help them with that development and that growth to do it responsibly. News 6's Mark Lehman has more.
The commission chair tells me the goal here is protecting Lake County's character while still having a thriving economy. She says there's no escaping the amount of people moving to the area, and because of that, it's so important for everyone to come together and create a common vision for development.
Out where we live, it's an agricultural community. You know, every third person owns horses.
We caught up with Jed Templeton buying supplies for his property outside Leesburg. He moved there after development near his previous home was too much to bear.
We lived there for 12 years in the villages and just became overwhelmed with the traffic.
With an unprecedented population boom, towns all across Lake County have seen a transformation. That's why county leaders are searching for solutions through a series of workshops.
It feels like Lake County is somewhat of the epicenter right now for growth.
Commission Chairman Leslie Campione says the four-part initiative is designed to gather community input. A focus will be on preserving natural resources while also managing the impacts of growth.
We've got some areas where our roads are getting extremely congested. We're not able to get the infrastructure in place in time to keep up with those demands.
Campione tells us one of the biggest goals is developing a joint planning agreement with municipalities. She says merging visions is key for developing responsibly.
And I think that's really what a lot of this is about, is bringing the cities and the county together along with the vision that our residents have.
This first workshop today is focused on exploring growth management tools available to charter counties, which Lake could become. We put details on all of the work sessions under this story on clickorlando.com. In Lake County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
This week, the GOP budget bill is heading to the Senate, where it could face a lot of revisions. That bill passed the House on a very, very slim margin by just one vote. And House Speaker Mike Johnson has already said that the Senate should not make significant changes to the bill if they want it to move through and get to the president's desk. We'll take a look. We'll see what happens there. CBS's Natalie Brand has more on that story.
President Trump says the new 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum will take effect this Wednesday after making the announcement before a crowd of U.S. steel workers in Pittsburgh Friday night.
Nobody's going to be able to steal your industry.
The European Union is already threatening potential countermeasures, and economists worry about increased prices on everything from construction materials to canned foods. But the Trump administration argues it's about protecting jobs and national security.
We have to show strength. We have to have a steel industry that's ready for American defense.
The increased tariffs on key metals come as tensions have once again ratcheted up between China and the U.S., with both countries accusing each other of violating that preliminary trade agreement reached in May.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who helped negotiate the truce, said Beijing is withholding some of the products they agreed to export, including rare earth minerals.
We will see what the consequences are. I am confident that when President Trump and Party Chairman Xi have a call, that this will be ironed out.
Small business owners say they remain in limbo.
The uncertainty is the worst part of all of this.
Ralph Bradley imports lighting equipment from a manufacturing partner in China.
It's hard to plan long-term strategy when you don't know what the long-term cost is going to be on your business.
One administration official has indicated President Trump's call with Chinese President Xi Jinping could happen as soon as this week. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
That'll do it for us here on News 6 Extra. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back starting on News 6 at 4. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas will be in for your forecast. And of course, we'll have all of the day's headlines, as well as the latest coming out of Boulder, Colorado, where that terrorist attack happened over the weekend, as well as here across Central Florida. All that is coming up starting on News 6 at 4. Thank you again for joining us, and have a pleasant day.